Welcome to Beyond the Art, where creativity knows no bounds and innovation takes center stage. Join us on a captivating journey through the realms of the Native American art world, exploring the untold stories, inspirations, and the sheer brilliance that fuels the world of Indigenous artistry. Welcome to Beyond the Art. Today we have with us Nicholas Galanin. Welcome to the show, Nicholas.
Thank you.
Well, we'll delve right into it. What inspired you to become an artist, and how has your background influenced your artistic journey?
I came from a lineage of artists, so I was fortunate to have my late father, Dave Galanin, who was somebody I'd mentored with throughout my life. My uncle, Will Burkhart, my great-grandfather was a totem carver. So that was definitely a big impact on what I grew up around.
And what is your tribal connection?
Tlingit and Unanga from Sitka, Alaska.
Perfect. Your work often addresses themes of identity, Indigenous rights, and the relationship between tradition and modernity. How does these themes shape your artistic process?
Everything that I've created, I feel like, is some form of engagement and continuum of culture, of community and place and time.
Mm-hmm.
I was trained historically in customary art forms that connect us deeply to place and to a timeline of cultural development of language and conversation and understanding of our histories. And it's expanded from there for me to represent the experiences today, but also to envision future.
Is there anything specific in your cultural heritage that motivates and inspires you?
Land.
Land?
Definitely land is a major part of my work and understanding of this practice. Language, generations of that, I would say, like, future generations that are going to be navigating this world. Definitely inspiration too.
So do you try to incorporate that message into each of your pieces for interpretation, or are you very distinct in the theme and what you're trying to express?
It varies. There's not really always a wrong way to engage in anything, I don't think. But I feel like there's a lot of entry points. So people from diverse perspectives and backgrounds can enter this space with the work and engage with it.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about a specific piece or project that holds significant personal meaning to you, and what inspired you in its creation.
I feel like it'd be easier to speak about works that are up now, so to speak, than just a specific one. And they're also different in their engagements. So currently up at Brooklyn Bridge Park in near the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. I have a work called In Every Language There's Land, and Cada Lengua Hay Una Tierra. And there's a photograph of that work in the solo exhibition at Site Santa Fe in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So that particular work's about border. It's about national and colonial violence of borders. And for this work, the sculpture is more of a structure that you can pass through, opposed to a border wall that prevents life from moving through it. So this work was created out of material diverted from the U.S.-Mexico border wall. Literally, it was a stock of Corten steel that is fabricated specifically for that purpose. So I feel like repurposing that was part of this conversation as well.
Is there a particular medium you prefer to work with, or is it easier for you to create what you're trying to express?
I don't have just one particular medium. I was trained as a wood carver, and I still really know that a lot of that process is probably foundational to things I do, but I've always tried to explain the process as being free and letting um, the concepts of ideas generate the material or the type of process for a piece.
So when you're thinking of creating that piece, do you think in the formation of the medium or materials that you're working with,
Sometimes
or
I think
yeah?
about place, I think about context, I think about time, I think about, um, I don't always directly look at the very specific, obvious points of something and try to be exhaustive and potential of ideas before I feel like
Now,
one is successfully complete.
correct. Now, collaboration is a part of your practice as well. You collaborate with a lot of different artists in some of your artwork.
Yeah, collaboration's always been a part, depending on process and project. Music, I'm a musician as well. For me,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of, uh, I think music's a great example of collaboration because you can get to places you could not really get alone. So
Do you think the perspective changes in the collaboration effort in your pieces or in the medium?
it can
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. I mean, some people allow for it, and some people are very, you know, specifically focused on what they have in mind. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
to collaborate, there involves some form of trust for sure.
When you started creating some of your pieces during your process, do you sketch it out? Do you plan it out? And does it change as it starts morphing into the final
Certainly.
artwork?
Yeah, obviously, once there's commitments made to a project, whether it be uh, budgetary or engineer wise, or any other constraints, possibly,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes more difficult to flow through evolution of possibilities or ideas. But yeah, there's oftentimes different iterations and extreme versions before arriving at one.
In your view, what role does art play in raising awareness about social and cultural issues, particularly those affecting Indigenous communities?
Art is empowering, especially for a community that has been silenced
Mm-hmm.
historically, that continues to be silenced in different ways. It's a form of voice, it's a form of messaging, it's a form of, um, as always, historically, our art has been forms of documenting and
Correct.
telling histories and stories and revealing. And I feel like that still stands true today.
Are there any particular pieces that you're working on now? Is that a continuation of your theme of what you're trying to express to the native and non-native?
It varies.
Yeah.
Again, um, I don't believe that that's the only version of what things can be. Things can be gestural, they can be abstract, they can be emotional in the
Mm-hmm.
humanity aspect of engaging. So it's not definitely not limited to those things. So um,
Is there any particular piece that you can think of that you were surprised out the outcome of response it got, and a piece that didn't get the response you expected or thought it was going to get?
um, maybe I don't try to I don't try to anticipate a response,
Right.
and I feel like that can be. Um, I mean, works get to live, and they get to live in their own time, and we don't really get a say in what that's going to be. And
True.
sometimes things don't come to life for 10 years from when it's been created. Other times it's immediate, and then it um, carries on or are kind of pauses a little bit. But I know different works have generated different responses, and there's a lot of different reasons potentially from it being the era and time, or the access to visibility, or platform that's sharing a work or concept. So yeah, I think there's just a lot of variables that could give you a variety of experiences.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything in particular that motivates and inspires you?
Yeah. We have to be motivated and inspired to do this work. And I know that there's many forms of that I am able to understand and explore. And sometimes it's unknown that is inspiring. Sometimes it's peers and things that have come before us always. Motivations can be deadlines, and motivations could be trying to seek your trying to resolve something that maybe you're not quite clear on what it is yet. So your process could be motivating in that sense of like exploratory, creative sides of things. So, I feel like that can also be important, but also important to understand what's motivating the intent of something.
How do you navigate the balance between pushing boundaries and respecting cultural traditions?
I feel like it's always been pushed. So they're not different. One is
tied to the other, or
certainly, but one is understanding and learning from what's been known or done, and in the cultural sense, what that is, what the technical side of that is, what the protocol or political side of it, or the different variables of even when and what it was like to be working as an artist in that generation or era. And I think now that responsibility is still similar. It's different. We're not just reproducing things. We're living and breathing, and our culture is too. So,
besides the pieces that you have out in New York, are there any other public installations that people can view or you feel most proud of?
Trying to think. I have recently raised a kutia, 25-foot totem pole in Juneau, Alaska, and that went up recently in May. So that'll be on kind of permanently, or as long as the totems survive the elements. Yeah.
Right.
So that's a recent one. Obviously, Site Santa Fe, the exhibition currently up called Interference Patterns, that's up until February. I think that's a really good opportunity to see a broad variety of works. Got some work up at the Seattle Art Museum as well right now. So yeah, there's things around.
Do you particularly find it interesting to do commission work?
Yeah, commissions can be a spectrum of things. It could be I want something, do whatever you want, or it can be this is a public commission, very specific guidelines, very specific engineering aspects of what is even capable in that, or budgetary like constraints and boundaries of space. So there's quite a big variety of things that you could navigate potentially in that. So, and as artists, I always encourage you to dream large and then bring it back to what's actually going to be possibility for something with constraints.
When you started on your artistic journey, what has most surprised you to date that you were unaware of, or you just surprised at?
What has surprised me in artistic journey? I think there's probably a lot of surprises. I just can't think of them offhand, like right now on the spot. Um, I feel like it's an incredible way to see the world and experience it
Mm-hmm.
through practice of like creative work. Um, I feel like, I guess something that's been surprising over time is the uh, that aspect of some of the space and some of the space, these peers ideas of competitiveness or something, and something like the creative field where there's room for everybody. There
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be a form of you can or can't or who's doing what type of mentality. So
Many of your artwork incorporate both traditional indigenous elements and contemporary artistic techniques. How do you see these elements intersecting in your work?
they're um, they're undeniably through lined with one. They come from the same place. They come from the same things. They're only separated by those who try to categorize and kind of compartmentalize versions of culture, community, and
Mm-hmm.
um, so I purposefully try not to separate any of those things.
When you write your own bio, what best describes you as an artist?
Oh, well, I mean, there's no denying I'm an indigenous artist coming from connective uh, understandings of place, and
Mm-hmm.
so we'll got to throw that in there. Uh, uh, I like to, and I don't even know if these words are like the best forms of it. But multidisciplinary covers um, a broad, opened
Mm-hmm.
possibility, and I think that's certainly part of that bio because I've tried to work free from any constraints. So sovereign creativity is another way of thinking about it. I feel like.
Share some of your insights into your creative process, and how do you typically approach the conceptualization and execution of a new piece or project?
That varies. I feel like there's so many different possible uh, projects that could be going on at once for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some of these ones I'll have them in my head for, I don't know, months,
Right.
knowing that they're underway, and
Do you
sometimes
sketch them out? Do you sketch them
I'll
out
sketch
prior?
them
Yeah.
out, or I'll have I work a lot with words, so my ideas can be written in text
Mm-hmm.
almost always before sketches, um, and and then I try to just like sit with things and come back to them, and move around to other projects that I might be kind of easing along as well, and
Mm-hmm.
not to stare too closely at them when I don't when I'm not meant to be that critical of it yet. And then obviously as things progress in the project, you get to spend more micro like understandings of what you're doing. So
Are you very disciplined when you start creating and have the set idea of the finished product, or do you kind of let it take its course naturally when you start and it becomes something else?
there's shifts of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes something is specifically planned to um, become something, but obviously it's not going. If there's another idea or something along the way, it makes sense to make those adjustments. I'm not going to stop myself.
All right.
Works like a totem pole or a kutia, you do go through some protocols if it's for the culture of engaging with elders in the community to say what's going to be going into this, what is being represented. Um, those works, yeah, there could be forms to make adjustments and stuff along the way, but I don't know how major they're going to be in shifting of a
Mm-hmm.
story or something that's represented. some of those works are really process orientated. They take 10 months to a year to carve, and you're showing up daily as a meditation of work and getting that closer and closer to form. So, and other works can be rapid, gestural, not really thinking too immediate about what it is going to be, but it's a feeling. I would reference monoprint making in that as something that's similar to that for me.
Do you work on multiple projects at one time, or do you stay focused and only work with one piece at a time?
I wouldn't say I'm multitasking, but it could seem like that because there could be multiple things underway, but they're not always getting your full attention while you're stepping away from it. So for me, sometimes I'm able to put it down and not really come back to it or think about it until I'm ready to come back to it. Or I feel like music can be like that for me.
Right.
Get to a point where I've been far enough away from it that I can't wait to get back to it.
So if you could say at this point in time, is there one piece that defines you as an artist, as an Indigenous artist?
No.
No.
My children, I guess. I don't know. There's not a.
They're pieces of art. Kids are artwork.
Yeah, parenting and raising them to engage and navigate this world. I think there's a lot of art involved in living in a sense, but yeah.
Absolutely. As you self-reflect in your journey of being an Indigenous artist, have you seen a transition in your own artwork?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's been transformative continually through time. And that's part of it has to be. You have to be. And it's not always apparent until a year or two passes, maybe. Who knows? Or it's something that you like is sought after to deepen an understanding through process and through showing up and practicing. But I feel like that's the journey.
Is there something that you want to work on that you haven't been asked to do or been commissioned on?
Probably. I'm pretty open to what projects I'm working on right now and what my time frame is like for that. Was recently scored a film, and that was really enjoyable and challenging.
Amazing. Right.
I think that would be something that I would enjoy to explore some more. But more large cultural works, more public works. I'm kind of, I've been enjoying a lot of these different variations of projects.
Are you represented? Are you in galleries or any institutions, exhibits currently?
Peter Bloom Gallery in New York is my gallerist, and I've been working with them for a few years. And as far as collections and stuff, I've got kind of a list of them that you could probably find somewhere. So,
is there something you want to do that you haven't done yet? That be it a particular medium or just something that is outside your norm of creating artwork?
Particular medium. Yeah, I feel like just the continual exploration of mediums has been enjoyable. I have a lot of respect for people that work in other mediums that maybe I haven't even really engaged in, from storytelling of certain, of writing in that sense too.
Right.
But I don't know if it's something that I would just dive into without really having an important reason to be in it in a certain way. So I think of medium like that most of the time.
Since you come from a family background of artistry, do you see them coming through to you and what you were taught? Have you taken
Yeah,
what they've taught you? Yeah.
always, still, continually.
Mm-hmm.
It's how it lives on. Um, I feel connected and closer when I'm doing certain projects that are, coming from those teachings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel I feel like there's a lot of um, a lot in that way in these.
So are you continuing that legacy and teaching your kids?
I am, yeah. My daughter's
Yeah,
carving a mask right now, which is exciting.
that's cool.
And all my children have engaged in the jewelry studio or uh, even in the music studio. So it's there. I'm not really high pressure. Like we have to get this done. It's
Right.
if they want to explore the space, they can.
Well, that's cool. So what's next for you, Nicholas? What's the future hold in your vision?
Um, I have uh, kind of a busy itinerary coming up. I'm
Yeah.
going to be traveling in January. I've got go site visit for a future biennial. Um, I've got a solo exhibition opening up at Baltimore Museum of Art next June, I think. So, and then a solo at the my gallery in New York later on in that year. Uh, Multiple group exhibitions. Um, 2025. I'm kind of got things booked into 2026 right now. So,
Busy man.
so it feels like a long time away, but when you
Hey.
break down the calendar of, all right, this is how much time and space is available to conceptualize and
Right.
to put things into production or to, it goes, sneaks up on you
Quick.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah, weeks become days, become oh, now it's a few hours.
Yeah.
So what are
So,
you working on currently then? Is
um,
it for those
yeah,
exhibitions and things?
I'm, I'm, um, I'm actually in the jewelry studio right now, but I'm working on a new record for my band Outseen, which is we're signed to Sub Pop Records out of
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, and so this is the second record that we're gonna do with Sub Pop, and kind of
When's it
steadily
being
working on
being
that.
released?
I don't know yet. I'm still, it's I started the recording process for that in February. Um, of like just sitting down and putting ideas down almost
Mm-hmm.
any chance I could when I was home. And for me, that looks like it became like 70 song ideas or so of just possible like starts of things. And then
Mm-hmm.
at a point, it's things float to the surface and that makes sense. And then those become, potential songs for the record.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a process to it. I say I would like to have the record really making sense by February or March of next year. So we'll see.
So is there a background story to the songs incorporated into the album?
There can
Uh,
be.
yeah.
Uh, it's not like I don't approach the whole process as this is a concept of the arc of this record
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that for me the way I work that would be a little limiting to start.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So it becomes. I think that story gets told as things get closer to a full project.
Mm-hmm. And how many songs do you have so far? You said 70?
Well, it started at 70, and then I start refining them and bringing other people in and as collaborators and trying to get it down to 9 ideally.
Right.
So
That's a big squeeze down.
yeah, but it's not too tough to do.
All right.
Um,
Do you have a title for the album?
no,
No, not yet.
nothing yet.
Do you work on the artwork?
Um, I have
Yeah.
or else collaborated, but I feel like I enjoy bringing other people into that space. For me, there's if I've done everything along the way, then I feel like it's I don't know. I think over time, there's more longevity in a project when I revisit it, when I've had other people participate in it, than just having it come from one source,
So once the album is released, will you do the tour circuit?
Yeah, we'll be probably doing some shows, and I don't know to what scope. The last record we released was released right when COVID hit, so there was just nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little harder.
Yeah.
Well, sir, is there anything else you want to add and share with our listeners?
No, I think that's it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show today and giving us your time. And I want to say much success to you moving forward and what you have lying ahead.
Great. Thank you.